All right, we're here at World of WrestleMania. We're doing our predictions for night one of WrestleMania. I'm with my boy Corday.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So let's go ahead and go through the card. The first one, supposedly Becky Lynch and Rhea Ripley are going to be opening the show. So prediction, Corday, what do you got, my dude?
I got mommy retaining.
You got mommy.
I have mommy retaining.
Yeah.
Mommy stays on top. The reason why I have her retaining, let me tell you why. I think that they're getting ready to split the Judgment Day up a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to separate the titles tonight with Finn and Damian losing the titles.
Mm-hmm.
I think that they're going to make it like Dom, he's been off his game lately.
Mm-hmm.
And I think him fighting his dad, they're going to make it like he's so focused on trying to get back at his deadbeat dad to avenge his loss last year. So I think to keep her looking strong as the leader, because she's disappointed in all of them, it's best for her to retain. And I think it does more for her than Becky. Becky's done it all. Becky's already a Hall of Famer. So Becky doesn't necessarily need this match. That's why I have Rhea retaining.
That's not bad. I also have Rhea retaining. I think Liv Morgan is going to be the one to take the strap off of her.
I do too.
Which will probably, my guess is at SummerSlam.
I think so too.
And in order for that to happen, Becky can't win tonight. That's my girl, Becky, 2 belts.
Becky doesn't need them. She
doesn't need the win.
She doesn't need it.
No,
she's already over.
I think Rhea's reign has been okay. She needs a couple more high-profile stars to really make this a good reign. And I definitely have a retaining today. So, all right, on to the next one is Sami Zayn versus Gunther.
You want me to go first again?
Go ahead. Yeah, let's hear your thoughts.
Once again, I have Gunther retaining.
Really?
Yes, I love Sami. I want it to be Sami, but I feel like with the underdog story of Chad Gable, everybody wanted to be Gable at Mania, even me, and that's coming from a big Sami guy. I think it'll make more sense to eventually have Gable take it off of Gunther than Sami, because you can have Sami win, and you can do Sami versus Gable. Those are two guys who are over. And then it could also ruin Sami Zayn, where Gable could be so over, now you might have to make Sami Zayn like a heel or something like that. And I love the babyface run Sami's on right now. And just let Gunther continue with the record, just let him keep stacking up days.
Yeah.
So I'm going with Gunther.
To see, this one is hard for me because
It's very hard.
I thought that Ilya would drop, spoiler alert, I thought Ilya would drop the title tonight, or this morning I should say, and he did not. So that means he's staying on NXT. Ilya versus Walter/Gunther, one of the best matches of all time. So that's why I thought he was going to be the one to take it off.
But
that's not happening.
I don't think that match needs a title though.
It does not need a title, but it would have helped Ilya
even more with the
main roster.
Yes,
so again, that was just one of my many predictions or hopes. That's not happening now, and unless Gunther holds the title, I actually think Sami's going to win. And the reason why is last year, he did have his moment, but we're talking Elimination Chamber and the singles title and all the hype and build.
It's been forever since he had a singles title.
Yeah, exactly. And this would be the moment to do it, to kind of give him that push. I do agree that Gable kind of needs the title, and I think Gable might turn heel after WrestleMania, maybe tomorrow night, or I shouldn't say tomorrow, on Monday for Monday Night Raw. But, I mean, it's tough because they both deserve it, and Gunther deserves to
all three
retain.
Of them deserve it.
Right, yeah.
All three of them.
See, I think that Gunther could lose the title in WrestleMania any way, shape, or form, and he will still look strong, and you could put him against Cody Rhodes on Monday to start the new story if Cody retains. So I mean, there's a lot of things that you could do, but I'm gonna go with Sami Zayn tonight.
I like it. It was a hard match to pick.
It really is. That is a coin flip for me, and I'd be happy either way with whoever wins. So next up is the Uso brothers, Jimmy and Jay.
Hey, this is the match. One of the matches I'm most excited for, to be honest. Outside of the title matches, I'm gonna go with my boy Jay. Man, Jay is highly become one of my favorite. I've always liked Jay, like even when they were together, because he's always been the more like goofy brother and stuff like that.
Yeah.
For me, I honestly think you could go either. I kind of feel like they both kind of deserve the win, but the reason why I'm going Jay is just because we've seen time after time again with Jimmy being a heel, losses doesn't necessarily hurt him, like hurt his stock, especially if he's still with the bloodline.
Yeah.
And obviously, we're going to see some bloodline interference tonight and probably tomorrow with Cody and Roman. But the reason for me, I feel like you have to strike while the iron is hot. Jay is so over right now. He's #1 in merch sales. The fans love him with the arm wave. Like I watched main event Jay Uso, man. The reason why I think he needs it is just because Jimmy cost him so many opportunities where he cost him even when they were together, he still cost them title matches. If you think about it,
Yeah.
Think about back in what was that? They had a Hell in a Cell match a couple years ago for the title, and Roman had him in the guillotine. Who came out? His brother.
Yeah.
SummerSlam. Who came out? His brother. And
Even the Intercontinental Championship
Intercontinental
match
Championship,
he
who came out? His
yeah.
brother. So he's cost Jay title after title after title. Where I feel like if you're going to keep them solo for a while, strike while the iron is hot with Jay, because he's so over right now.
Yeah.
So I'm going with my boy Jay.
It's tough because
It's really tough, bro.
I feel like Jay has gotten that push where Jimmy hasn't gotten the. He's
The same
very
push,
underrated. I think he hasn't.
I
gotten
think
the
they're
same
both
push
great,
yet.
me personally.
And it's going to be interesting because if Roman does lose, right, I think you still want the bloodline story to go on.
You
And
can't
I
just
don't-
end it with a
Yeah, I don't
like-
think it can just end there. Obviously, The Rock as well, but The Rock is supposed to go do movies and stuff too. So if you give Jimmy the win here, you kind of give him a lot of stock for the bloodline
after-
story for the
exactly.
future. Same with Solo.
Especially if Roman loses.
Yes, exactly. So Jimmy has that stuck to keep the bloodline stuff going. But I have to go with Jey Uso. He is the main event.
Ooh, so
Yes, sir. I think the real thing is Solo going to get involved or not? Because
I don't think they should have him get involved.
I don't know if I want him to.
I don't think they should have him get involved at all.
And should
Let the brothers fight it out.
What about Rikishi? What about the dad?
I wouldn't mind if that happened, but I just want it honestly one-on-one, no interference, no nothing. I feel like let these two brothers have their moment. Like they both always said their biggest dream match was facing each other at
Exactly.
WrestleMania. So let them have that moment with no outside interference. And I don't know if you saw the interview. Even Jay did an interview with Jimmy kind of teasing like, yo,
Yeah, I did
after
see
this, let's leave it in the ring.
But
I
Jimmy
miss you.
didn't say
He
anything.
didn't say anything.
He
So
just
it's coming
sat
for great
there,
TV.
So it's gonna be, like I said,
This is, like I told you, this is probably the second or third match I'm looking most forward to.
and it's gonna be a good match. I wish the build would have been a little bit better, but I mean, it's the Usos.
Yeah,
man.
the build-up could have been a little bit more better because they kept getting involved in like the Roman, Seth, Cody, Rock situation.
Yeah.
But you expected that, to be honest. Yeah.
Exactly. All right, on to the next one is the six-pack ladder match for the undisputed WWE Tag Team Champions. Before we throw our predictions out, I will let you know that they have specifically said if you grab one pair of belts or you grab one of the belts, the other ones are still up for grabs. So you can have two winners here.
Yep.
Corday.
Exactly.
Who
So
you take?
with
Who you
that,
picking?
it's finally time to separate the tag titles, in my opinion.
Oh, yes.
They should have been did it. They should have been did it after Sammy and KO. But for one team, I'm going Awesome Truth. I feel like R-Truth is so over right now. Everyone's always loved R-Truth.
My
He's a
boy
fan
Ron, the
favorite.
Truth Killings.
Yes,
for
the
TNA,
extremist
baby.
mixtape,
Yes,
baby.
sir.
And The Miz. The Miz is one of the most underrated wrestlers of this generation.
Yeah, I love the Miz.
The Miz is awesome. He can speak on the mic. He can wrestle. People argue, yes, he still moves and stuff like that. But regardless, good wrestling is good wrestling. Everyone steals. Everyone moves. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
the Skull Crusher finale, it's not like he stole that. He has his own finisher. And then,
You want to peek at the?
yeah,
the
let me
winner?
actually see that. I would love for the New Day to win, but I think I'm stuck right now between. I'm sorry, I suck with team names. I'm stuck right now between Waller and Theory.
A-Town Down Under.
Yeah, A-Town Down Under. I'm stuck between them, and I'm stuck between
The new
Tommaso Ciampa.
Oh,
and,
you want DIY?
Yeah, I want DIY to
Okay,
win it,
okay.
man. I love Tommaso Ciampa. He was on a great run on the main roster before he got hurt, and then he got hurt, came back, and he's still been on fire. Fans love him. So I'm stuck between those two teams. I think I'm gonna go with DIY.
DIY,
I think I'm gonna
okay.
go with my boy Tommaso Ciampa.
Gotcha. All right, I'm actually gonna stick with the R-Truth and the Miz. Awesome Truth. I love my boy Ron to Truth Killings. I love the Miz. Like you said,
He loves The
he's
Miz.
very
That's all we talk about
he
all the
is.
time.
He's very underrated in my opinion. A lot of people think that he can't wrestle, and I very much disagree. I think Miz is a product of the company.
He is.
Right?
He does
If
whatever
you-
they ask of him.
Exactly. So if you had him to go out there and actually do a 5-star wrestling match, I think he could live up to the task.
He beat John Cena at WrestleMania.
He did, but we don't talk about that match. that is one match that people do not like. But I mean, he's a guy that he's done a lot for the company. He's been there for almost 20 years now. It's
Which is
crazy.
ridiculous.
It's crazy to think.
And he's still going strong, man.
Yeah, he really is, and he
Still
doesn't
going
get
strong.
hurt. He doesn't get hurt. He's one of the best Intercontinental champions of all time. So, not to glaze Miz too much, but I do love Awesome Truth. And then I actually have two
Mike
picks.
Mazzani.
Okay, one is from one in the actual match, and it's gonna be the New Catch Republic. I think because they're on SmackDown, I think they're gonna be one of the teams to take the SmackDown titles,
Take
and
it-
they
take
can
it home.
do a rivalry with A-Town Down, kind
Yeah.
of continue that story a little bit, and Awesome Truth could fight DIY.
Yeah.
They've been kind of
You
in
can create two
cahoots for a little bit,
storylines.
but you could turn one of the. You're turning DIY heel in this
Definitely.
process.
Ciampa's a natural heel.
Yeah, and I think, Gargano and Ciampa's best work NXT, man. I mean, you could definitely start doing that, especially with Triple H now in charge.
You know Triple H is going to push his NXT
Oh yeah,
guys.
he loves those guys. So
Which he needs to.
they
He
can
deserve
work,
it.
and it's been 10 years almost since Takeover Brooklyn.
Has it been
When
really?
I went to 2015 and 2016.
Yeah, it's
so
2024
They
now.
won.
I was a child.
They were 2015 against FTR, I believe. That was SummerSlam.
2015, I was 14 years old. Yeah,
It's
that
crazy.
was
So, time flies by. But my other pick, they are not in the match. They are not announced. They're supposedly going to AEW, but I'm going to throw the Motor City Machine Guns coming into this match.
Yeah,
and
apparently there's rumors of it being an extra slot.
Yeah, so
So-
that's my boys right there. Okay.
I don't have no prediction for that.
Yeah,
to be
if,
honest.
if I had to say another team was going to win, it would be Motor City Machine Guns. I'm a big TNA Impact guy, watching them win the X Division titles and the Impact World Championship this past year. Their contract is up with TNA. It was the beginning of April. You could pull a Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy situation at WrestleMania 33, and I think you can introduce them. And I know for a fact they get a huge pop. But again, we don't know if
Another
that's
story for
happening.
another day.
Yeah, we'll see what happens with that one. All right, so on to the next match is the the six-woman tag match between Damage Control, Bianca, Naomi, and Jade Cargill.
Jade, Bianca, Naomi, easy.
It's easy.
I don't even have to go into detail.
No, I
It's
don't
just
think
easy.
we need to. There's no way that Jade loses her first match unless she turns heel. But I just don't feel like
It's not
the time.
the time yet.
It's
Let them do that on like Raw or a SummerSlam or something like that.
Backlash,
It's-
something
yeah,
where it
something
kinda-
like that. It's not time yet.
I think
We'll definitely get Jade and Bianca at some point, definitely. But I just feel like that's more of a big moment, like a Mania or
Yeah.
SummerSlam or
It's-
don't force it.
I want so the tag titles are not on the line because it's a six-woman tag match. Is very disappointing because I think that would have been a nice marquee match for those titles to kind of get lifted up. But I think maybe down the line you could have Naomi and Bianca fight for the tag titles, and maybe Jade screws them over at some point.
Yeah.
Backlash, Money in the Bank,
Yeah,
Clash of the
let
Clash,
that
something like
happen
that.
later on.
Let it simmer. I'm going with my girls, Naomi, Bianca, and
Yeah, that's
Jade
an easy
Cargill.
one.
It's
We can
easy.
move to the next
Yep,
one.
on to the next one. It's actually on here. It's Santos Escobar and Dom Mysterio versus Rey and Dragon Lee. But on SmackDown, Dragon Lee got
Andrade.
taken out,
Yes.
and Andrade is now being inserted into the match. This obviously is not on the card either, but a certain someone's not happy about not being in that match. So I don't know. What are you going with this one?
Man.
See, to me, it's clear as day.
For me, I feel like now that Andrade's in the match, it has to be Rey and Andrade.
Mhm.
I don't see Andrade coming back and losing his first like major match,
Mhm.
especially at WrestleMania. I would like it honestly to be Dirty Dom. I feel like I do want him to avenge that loss from last year, regardless of how you feel about him or not. He gets heel heat,
Yeah,
amazing
he's
heel
been
heat.
putting in the work.
He's been
too.
putting in a lot of work, a lot of good underrated matches too. But with Andrade, coming out and being in this match, for me, it's kind of I feel like it's easy. You
Mhm.
got to get Rey and Andrade that win.
Exactly. So I am going opposite. I think it's without a doubt going to be Dom and Santos Escobar because
I feel like it needs to be, but I don't see Andrade losing.
I see Dom getting his revenge on his dad. And secondly, Carlito is not happy about not being picked. So I think this is going to be the heel turn of Carlito. He's going to
Yes,
cost
that's
Rey the
very
match.
true. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, and I think Carlito as a heel is just magnificent. So I don't see how it's going the
Don't
other way.
force him heel,
Yeah,
yeah.
it's going to be the heels winning this one. I think Carlito's going to play a big part into it, and we're finally going to get that heel turn from him. Yeah, so on to the last match, it says, of the night. It's the big-time tag match between The Rock and Roman Reigns and
have a
Cody
lot to say
Rhodes
about
and
this one.
Seth Rollins. So
Okay.
I'm going to let you take the floor on this one. Go ahead.
I have a lot to say about this one, but I'll keep it short. My hardest because this is already about 15
Oh,
minutes.
you're good, man.
But
Please.
anyway, it's gonna be Roman and Rock. I feel like you have to make it Roman and Rock, me personally, because they're emphasizing this bloodline rules thing too much for it to not happen. And if Cody is going to win that match, with him already being the underdog, trying to finish his story, having him lose this match and having Bloodline rules, and if he can finish that story, it's even more of a chef's kiss, like a cherry on top. He's been chasing this for a year now, winning back-to-back Royal Rumbles, getting injured with his tricep and all of that. So if his time is now, I feel like you have to think about John Cena, Super Cena. Cody is so hot where he can be on that echelon of Super Cena. And I feel like him taking out the Bloodline once and for all with them at full strength is chef's kiss on top. Now, this is the kicker that makes me mad about it. I don't care about them losing the match. What I care about, if no one, you guys, if you don't know, now you're finding out, I'm a giant Seth Rollins fan. Seth Rollins is, in my eyes, him and John Cena. I'm not saying Seth Rollins is, I know there's guys better than Seth Rollins, but for me personally, my favorite, John Cena and Seth Rollins are my two GOATs, like my favorite wrestlers of all time. So with Seth Rollins, me loving him and my favorite piece of work of his being the Authority back in 2014 and 15, today, 2023-24 has been the best work of his career by far. And the idea to me that he could potentially take the pin tonight is wild. And the fact that he could lose his title tomorrow on night 2 is wild. I'll save that prediction for tomorrow, but the fact that he could lose 2 Mania matches with having the best work of his career does not sit well with me. And I feel like if they're going to lose, you have Cody take the pin. And let me tell you why I think you have Cody take the pin. Go back to what I just said. If he takes the pin and loses that match tonight, now he's already, damn, it's Bloodline rules. I took the pin. I lost to Roman last year. Solo, Jimmy, Rock, all of them's going to be there. How do I avenge this? So now it's like you could kind of play like the underdog, depressed story a little bit leading up to that match where if he wins, he's on top of the world. And, you know, we're all expecting Rock to go back to movies and Hollywood and stuff like that, which he will eventually. But don't even have Roman pin him. Have Rock pin him. So that way down the line you could set up maybe a 10-minute Cody and Rock at SummerSlam or something like that. So I feel like if they lose that match, which I think they will, you have Cody take the pin and not Seth. Because you have to think, tomorrow night, Seth is still going in as champion. You can't have your champion look weak going into a championship match. Especially when he's talking. He's been champion for almost a year now. He's been talking, you know, his heavy hurrah of I can handle Drew and the Bloodline, or, you know, naming his accolades, you know, stuff like that. You build him up strong to this point, keep him strong. I feel like you don't have him take the pin if he loses. That's my opinion on it.
So
I know that was
we had this discussion at work because I am not a Seth Rollins fan. I was not a Seth Rollins fan during the Authority times. Not him as a performer, but his character. I just did not like.
He was a weasel.
I didn't like it. A lot of his J&J security stuff and him always winning because he has the talent. So him always winning by them, by interference and the Authority and all that stuff, I just was not a fan. So fast forward to today, and I was telling him, I was like, this is some of Seth's best work. I'm actually interested in everything that he says. Every week I want to see Seth Rollins and hear what he has to say. And I just don't like the thought of him getting pinned. I think it's going to happen.
I do too.
But I don't want it to happen. I want Cody to be the one for the exact same reason that you said. Him having to fight his way past the Bloodline. I don't see a world where Bloodline rules does not happen.
They talk about it too much for it to not happen.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't see it, which sucks because it feels like you're spoiling the main event of WrestleMania. Night 1, obviously, where maybe you could have put Bayley and Io Sky or something like that in the main event of night 1.
You could have, and I would have liked to, but The Rock and Roman, Seth,
it was never going to happen.
Too much money around it. Too much money around it. Those guys are, Seth, Roman, and Cody are the holy trinity of WWE right now. They're the faces of the company.
Yeah, so it's been a thing for a long time where the World Heavyweight title was the second best title in here, and then they brought it up in storyline that it was not as good, right? So I can't see Seth Rollins. I don't want him to be the one pinned because I love the concept of 2 world titles. There are too many people in the company that deserve to have world titles
for them to be combined.
Yeah, you can't just have one, especially when you have someone like Roman holding the title for 3 years.
And you have part-time.
Yeah, it's very detrimental to the rest of the superstars who could add that to their resume as being a world champion.
It's like a spit in the face to the wrestlers who's there weekly.
Yeah, you know? I mean, think about it.
Who deserve it.
Randy Orton probably should have one before he leaves. John Cena might get one before he leaves. LA Knight deserves one. You got Sammy, you got KO. There's too many people on the roster where having one world title is not good. Yeah, so that being said, I do think The Rock and Roman are going to win. I'm going to hope that The Rock pins Cody. that it doesn't make Seth look bad. And the other thing too is if you have Cody be the one that loses this match, right? You could have that down the line if you ever want to do Seth versus Cody
again
for the title.
Exactly.
He can bring up the fact that you're the one that lost that match, not me.
And I feel like for a fact we're going to get Seth and Cody down the line again. And once again, before I say anything about me loving Seth, I love Cody Rhodes, man. Cody Rhodes is amazing. But it's just like, I know we're going to get it. And realistically, we're down the line, Cody is going to win. But as a Seth fan, too, it makes me feel like I don't even want it if he's just going to be 0-6 against Cody Rhodes.
Yeah, exactly. Being 0-3 already is kind of rough,
Yeah.
but I definitely think somewhere down the line, if Seth loses the title, maybe he goes for Cody's title if Cody has it. You turn Seth heel again.
I feel like a heel turn is definitely coming.
Yeah, especially because The Rock is confirmed going to be doing a movie for like 4 months, so he's going to be gone. Roman's probably going to take time off and stuff like that. So that's just one of the many branches that you can put out there, and you might never come to that. You might never do Seth versus Cody again, but planting seeds over here and seeing which ones grows and which one flourishes is definitely something that we want to do.
They definitely teased a Seth heel turn a couple of times, especially the other night or maybe 2 weeks ago on Raw when Jay went out for his match and he's like, go get him, and he makes like the evil weird face. So they teased it a little bit. I feel like it's bound to happen. It's just
supposedly SmackDown too. I was behind, so I didn't see like the Titantron and all this stuff, but
I didn't see SmackDown last night.
They're saying that maybe Seth's gonna turn on Cody because they came out to Cody's music and Seth kind of trailed behind Cody instead of running with him.
Yeah.
And then when they ended the show, Cody's music again and stuff, so you're kind of making the World Heavyweight Champion look bad, type of thing. But either way, I mean,
that's another thing with me. You were saying how they're making it like, oh, it's the second title and all of this. They're trying to push it to make it feel like it's not a second title.
Yeah,
so you can't have the champion look weak going into his title match, which I think is probably going to open the show tomorrow. And I feel like tomorrow Seth somehow is going to get involved no matter the result tonight. Whether it's attacking Roman, turning on Cody, he's going to get involved some shape, some way, some form.
Exactly. So.
And the thing about me being a Seth fan, I love that he's in this moment. Because like I said, the best work of his career, him and Roman fought for that title at the Royal Rumble, and Seth did not lose, technically. And it's like, that went out the window. No one talks about, it's always Roman beat LA Knight, he beat Cody, he beat Randy. It's never, but he didn't beat Seth Rollins.
Yeah.
He never
didn't, and he's
never beat Seth Rollins clean for a championship or an important match.
I just say I was so angry that they never brought up the fact that Seth technically beat him at Royal Rumble.
Yes.
Right? He was the first person to defeat Roman in the whole time, and I think since Baron Corbin pinned him or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
well, in the days of Raw.
Before Jay ended up pinning him, right? So I was so mad, and then one day Michael Cole brought it up, and I went, thank you. Seth never fucking lost to Roman, and he never got his rematch.
Got his rematch.
I hope some more stuff comes.
It doesn't complete the story of, I don't know if you remember a couple years ago now, it's been so long since Roman had the title, where it's like, yo, if you beat Roman and you lose, you can never rematch. Remember he tried to do that with Brock and AJ and Finn and all that? Yeah. Seth never got his rematch. Seth didn't lose the match. Seth did not lose the match.
So, again, we're planting seeds over here. We like the continuations of stories and whatnot, but
long-term storytelling is chef's kiss.
Yes, I love it. And I love when you not just bring up stuff from the past 5, 6, 7 years ago when superstars interact. I also like it when you're in other companies and they do that stuff too, because we shouldn't be ignoring things that have happened in the past, right? Like Triple H and Undertaker WrestleMania 17. That happened. We didn't need to take that out and say that never happened, because that was a good match. Anyway, that's a story for another time. But that's our predictions for WrestleMania Night 1. We'll come back at you with...
we will see you guys Night 2.
Yeah. Well, actually, we'll do a video with our reactions to everything that happened tonight, right? And then we'll do another one of these for WrestleMania Night 2. But that's it. This is my boy Corday. I've been the Parafire, reigning, defending, undisputed United States champion for 8 years now.
Let's go.
And we're off to WrestleMania, baby. Let's go.
My boy.
I'm ready for this. See you guys later.